Your new favorite country music festival is here and right in your backyard. The Country Fair is bringing Zach Bryan, John Pardi, Chris Young, and more to the fairgrounds at Chesterfield Amphitheater. May 19th through the 21st, 2022. Grab your friends and slide on your cowboy boots for a 3-day festival experience. Packed with country music's hottest stars, some of St. Louis's most popular eats and drinks, a free carnival with all your favorite rides upon festival entry, an authentic honky-tonk with live music, dancing, mechanical bull riding, and so much more. Kids under 12 free. Get your single-day ticket starting at $20 or 3-day passes now at ChesterfieldCountryFair.com.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. Thank you for checking out another episode of the show. Today's features Charlie Berry III, grandson to the late great Chuck Berry. Had a lot of fun sitting down talking to him about some of his original music, and also get into he's doing a tribute to Chuck Berry happening on May 4th, Blueberry Hill in the Duck Room. And it's going to be a great time, so come on out and see that show. Also, that day when I recorded this, I stopped by Barnes Jewish Hospital there in St. Louis, and I donated all the money from Debstock for my mom's birthday. So I thought that would be a nice tribute to her and bring it all together. And so I had a great time hanging out that day with Charlie and doing that on her mom. So thanks everybody again for their support of Debstock back in November. Hopefully all the money will go to help a bunch of people fighting brain cancer and try to make things a little easier for them all. Do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Roughneck Beard Company and American Rambler, located right here in St. Louis, Missouri, over in the Maplewood area. You can stop in and visit the shop or shop 24/7 at roughneckbeardcompany.com. Use my code RPP15 during checkout for an exclusive 15% off your purchase of all your favorite beard oils, beard balms, their junk powder. You can try their tattoo ointment, banger butter, and all kinds of great products over there. Basically anything you can think of to take care of that beard and mustache of yours. So visit them again, roughneckbeardcompany.com today. Roughneck Beard Company is proud to present a brand new beard oil blend, Comeback Kid. Spring is upon us and the world is in rebirth. The pandemic seems to be winding down and life is beginning to resume. Try our brand new invigorating blend of lemon, peppermint, black pepper, rosemary, and ylang. It's the perfect blend to bring us all back to life. Comeback Kid is now available at roughneckbeardcompany.com. RPP15 during checkout. Also, big thank you to my friends at Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri for their continued support. Just stopped by last Friday night and watched Denver Wade Trent play over there. Had a cold beverage on the patio, and everything was awesome, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a beautiful night out. So yeah, stop in and visit them and enjoy some patio beers yourself. All your craft beer needs, over 25 rotating taps, and all kinds of delicious food, burgers, nachos, pretzels, salads, flatbread pizzas, all kinds of tasty stuff on their menu. And live music happening from on Friday, April 29th, Jeff Walchhauser. Saturday, April 30th, Buddy and Q. And on Sunday, May 1st, Denver Wade Trent returns out there. Find their full menu of beers and food and music. Find it all at friendshipbrewingcompany.com today. Hit them up on the socials and tell them Shane sent you. If you need me, of course, you can always find me at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Feel free to email me and let me know what you think of these new Charlie Berry project tunes at rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you all. And with all that out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy a brand new episode with my buddy Charlie Berry III.
Podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
Hey, everybody, this is Charlie Berry, and you're listening to the Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with Charlie Berry III. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thank you for having me.
This is super cool. I'm very excited to be here with you. Really, because this is like our first time properly sitting down and talking and hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled it up the other day. I think it was February 2020. We was at Mike Zito.
Oh, yeah.
Chuck Berry show.
Yeah, just before the world came to an end for a second there.
So that's like, I remember meeting you that night, and we got a picture together, and and just introduced myself, and and then everything shut down, and so we finally getting back around to getting to hang out and stuff. So I know I think it was Dr. Slappenstein where I got introduced to you as a player, getting learn your name and stuff as so big shout out to Tom too.
What's up, Tom?
Yeah, for helping introduce us too. Like I remember your name came up on that episode when I was hanging out with him. So, but yeah, man. So anyway, this is what I like to do. I like to find the show gives me is a good excuse to continually link up with friends and to have a nice conversation where we're not like screaming over a band somewhere at a bar or whatever it is and that kind of thing. So an excuse to get out and meeting new people, discovering new music, and this is it's cool, man. I'm glad you did this today. So
thank you for having me.
Yeah. We got some big stuff coming up, but being at our first time talking, I'd like to go kind of back some of the early days for you growing up and stuff, especially being grandson to Chuck Berry, which is a pretty unique thing. I know it's kind of I don't know. I'm sure you've got your own perspective and your own stories. I mean, it's just like a weird thing kind of think about, like the being relatives to a famous or one of the most famous people. Grandfather of rock and roll and stuff. And so take me back. What's growing up for Charlie Berry? What's that like for you?
Oh, man, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Grew up in Ladue.
Yeah.
Used to play outside a lot as a kid. I got into music fairly early. Had a lot of energy. Got into sports because of that, too.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good childhood, pretty good teenage years.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good life so far. I mean, we've had our ups and downs, but
Sure.
but for the most part, it's been good.
Was it always guitar for you, or do you
Actually, no.
Did you start with something else?
I received my first guitar when I was 6, but I wasn't really playing. And I think it was 1999, so I was 5 actually. 1999 or 2000. And the pageant had just opened up. My grandmother had actually got me a little red Stratocaster for Christmas. And I was like, this is awesome. And at the time, my guitar hero was Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
So I'd stand on my bed and pretend like I was him. Be like, yeah, I want to get away. Yeah. I want to fly away. But then the pageant opens up and they're doing this thing called the 21 Guitar Salute in the front of it. And it was my pop's grandfather, a guy by the name of Billy Peak, who played with my grandfather as well. And then Jimmy Marsala, and then who's who of like St. Louis legend guitar players who were there. And I'm standing outside. I got my little tuxedo on. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is really cool. And I'm like looking back, and I knew then it's like I'm not plugged in, but who cares? It's like this is awesome. And so then we moved the show inside, and I'm standing like stage left, and still got the little red guitar on. It's still slung around my neck and whatnot, and dancing and playing behind stage, which is funny too, because I did that at Lou Fest years later. Yeah. And my grandfather, he just points at me, he says, Junior. He says, he like waves at me and says, come on out here. And I like ran out there, jumped on the drum riser, jumped off it, and then slid across the stage. And that night I knew I wanted to be a musician. But I was not destined to be a guitar player at that point. My parents made me wait a few years, and then it was 2nd or 3rd grade, I started playing violin. Okay. And that's where I really learned music, learned how to sight read, ear training and whatnot. And then when I got to middle school, I started my first band with one of my friends by the name of Declan Boyce, who doesn't live here anymore. He was from Singapore. Okay. And we started this band called the Bendy Straw Losers. And there was God knows how many rotations of musicians in that band from middle school up until I graduated. And then I stopped playing for a few years. And when I was around 21, I picked it back up. I went off to school, and then when I got back from school, I was working at Jimmy John's as a bike delivery guy, and then I got really into biking until I got hit by a truck.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so then it took getting hit one more time, where I was like, I like bikes and whatnot, but I think I'm gonna go back to guitar now. So yeah, I was around 21 then.
What did you? Was there any like damage? Significant, or was it like?
Not that I know of.
I mean,
I had some memory problems for a little minute, but it eventually went away. I can remember things better. Yeah. I mean, like typical head injury stuff, memory problems, some problems with mood for a little while too.
So it wasn't just a bump. It was. It was a full on. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Jeez, man.
I was downtown. I just dropped off one of my coworkers, and I just bought this new bike. It was called a fixed gear. Yeah. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I didn't even know these things existed. And so I'm riding around on this brakeless bike, and I'm thinking I'm safe because it's like 2-3 in the morning downtown. I'm not seeing any cars. Yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm having like the time of my life, just going extremely fast on this bike, just blowing through red lights. And so it's lucky enough for me when I'm like, all right, I'm done. It's time to go home. I'm on Tucker and Washington, and I see another light turn red. I'm like, fuck it, I'm fine. I've made it this far. And I look to my left as I'm like passing up this building, and I see this yellow cab. And in a split second, I just go like, oh shit. And then just get laid out by this truck. And I think the police report, I'm lucky it was barely anything, but I think the police report said it was like 35 miles an hour. I like wake up, I got this huge knot on my head. I'm like, what happened? And the trucker's like, holy shit. He goes like, oh my Lord. And he's like, he's flipping out. Yeah. And
he probably thought you just killed him, man.
Yeah, man. And not too long after that, I had already bought myself another guitar because I was guitarless at that point in time, and I was like, you know what? And I bought myself a little Stratocaster, and I was like, you know what? I just almost got hit again a few months later. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. It was like, this is silly. So I had been thinking to myself, like, you know what? I went off to school and was like, you know what? Because I thought I was going to be a teacher. And then I was like, nah, that's not for me. Yeah. So then while I was working at Jimmy John's, I was using some of my tip money to buy myself tools to become a carpenter and join the union and whatnot. And then, and I used some of that money to buy a guitar as well. Mm-hmm. And so then after that second time, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be a carpenter now and I'm going to play guitar. So I got into those two fields around the same time. And started going to open jams at Broadway Oyster Bar and was getting my ass handed to me. Not that it was a competition or anything, but I should say getting my ass embarrassed. Yeah. Because you go down there thinking like, oh, I was in high school. We had a good band going, and then you get a nice dose of reality.
Haven't you guys heard of the Bendy Straw Losers? I mean, come
right,
on.
right. We were excellent. And I went through that process. Yeah. And then I ended up meeting Tom Schlick at Charlac Pub over in what's that considered?
Overland or something, I think. Right?
Yeah. Met him over there, and ended up playing with Tom for about 3.5 years or so. Yeah. And then that's where we are now. Yeah, man. Yeah. It's been a long time just trying to find people to play with. Right. Find people that were reliable to play with. A lot of folks would be like, oh, yeah, let's do this. And then we're just like, hey, you're going to be at rehearsal? No, okay. So it took a while to find reliable musicians to play with. And ended up playing with Dr. Slappenstein. Mm-hmm. It was a load of fun. We went through the ranks of playing like small bars and whatnot. And then just as the pandemic had hit, we were starting to consistently play slightly bigger venues. We're like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then the pandemic hit, and then I ended up kind of branching out, started doing my own thing. Got on Instagram kind of heavy, and then I started playing with more musicians. Wrote a bunch of songs. Only 6 of them made the cut though. All right. And and now on May 4th, my band is returning after, about a 4-month hiatus. We played a impromptu show at Broadway Oyster Bar back in January. And we'll be back May 4th. We're going to be opening up for my grandfather's tribute act. Yeah. And just getting back on the high horse now. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Just to kind of fill you, I don't know if I told you any of this, but not that I never met your grandfather, but I did get to see him live twice. So that was pretty cool. And once at Blueberry Hill, and once at Lindenwood University. Wow. And then, but I always kind of had this like connection. I mean, I never met him, but I grew up next to Berry Acres in Wentzville. Oh, okay. And so like always like it was just always this cool thing. Like, oh yeah, that's Chuck Berry's property right there. You know, like my neighbor. So it was just like it was a strange thing for me. You know, like at the time I really didn't think much of it. Like, you know, it's just Chuck Berry. You know, it's just my neighbor kind of thing. Like I didn't really like put it fully into significance, like what it, like, you know, how weird that is, that sentence to say that, you know, not everybody gets to say that kind of stuff. So, and just like, much like yourself too, like it's just, you know, but it was just always thought it was cool that, small world kind of thing, like, you know, of all the places that I'm living next to Chuck Berry here. And I don't know. I used to hear some stories like from some coworkers of mine about like some of the legendary parties out at his property with like he was saying something about like seeing the like Keith Richards there and stuff, and like so for me, like growing up in Wentzville, I always felt like there was nothing in this town and stuff, but to like think about guys from the Rolling Stones and Chuck Berry and all the crazy things that were happening in the 70s and 80s and whatever and stuff in Wentzville was cool to imagine what this was like and stuff for then. But so I don't know. There's a lot of things going on out there now, like as far as like growth and stuff. But like man, when I was a kid there, I just felt like, I think a lot of kids kind of go through that, like where their hometown is like, they just can't wait to get out of it kind of thing. But
yeah, now Wentzville has definitely changed. It's way more developed from what I remember when I was a kid, like late 90s, early 2000s. It seemed like it started to change. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like say like around mid 2000s, like somewhere around 2008.
So I was like on that cusp of like growth and everything because like I was always in like the new schools as they were like expanding everything. So like there was like I graduated in 2003, and I was the first graduating class of their second high school out there.
Okay,
and so
that's
like
pretty cool.
Yeah, so stuff like that. Like there was a lot of growth happening that right around that time, and like everything was kind of. So yeah, definitely early 2000s. There was a big boom out there, like of just all kinds of neighborhoods popping up, and so. But yeah, it was. But anyway, I was a little bit of my childhood, like thought that was cool. So we mentioned this show coming up on May 4th, and this is Barry Plays Barry, and so it's a kind of an all-star cast of characters playing your grandfather's music as a tribute show, and then Charlie Berry Project will be open the night up, and tickets available right now at Blueberry Hill website and everything. So you can grab those and come on out to join us on a fine Wednesday night.
Yeah,
that room's, I mean, obviously a ton of history in that room, and Chuck played. I don't know number countless shows. There are like hundreds of them. So that's cool that coming back around years later and getting to do it again. Yeah.
What makes this one cool is it's the first time my cousin and I are going to be doing this completely on our own. Like the posters on this little makeshift coffee table. We first started playing these tunes out with other folks 2017. It's September 9th 2017, and man, we've gone all over the country playing behind other people, and then this past September in 2021 we played with my father and Keith Robinson and another guy by the name of Terry Coleman. And my pops was more or less leading the band, and Keith, he played with my grandfather for just as long as my dad, and so they were kind of showing us like, this is how you really do this. And so this will be the first time where we, the two young cats, we're like, oh, okay, we're out here doing it. We're doing this for real now. So
yeah, man,
this would be a pretty good time. And you're right about that all-star cast. We got Jeff Daruba in there, Theodore Brookins, and Antonio Foster, three musicians, musicians. And I'm liking what they bring to the table. I've had the pleasure of playing with Antonio a few times now, and that dude always blows me away with how good he is at playing those keys. And then same with Daruba on drums and Teddy on bass. Yeah. I was really pleased with the rehearsal, and I was like, all right, man, we're going to go kick ass. This is going to be a good time. Yeah, man. It's going to be a real good time. Yeah.
And you're playing lead guitar.
Yeah.
And then Jahi singing.
Oh yeah, Jahi singing. I'm playing guitar. We're gonna try and get my pops to come up there and do reeling and rocking with us. He knows the lyrics to how that song is supposed to end, and it'll be a good time. It'll be a real good time. maybe saying too much, but for that set, I'll be playing a replica of my grandfather's guitar.
Okay.
Might have a dual showman to play through that night, maybe not, but we're gonna try and get as close to that tone as we possibly can. And we're looking forward to bringing back memories and trying to get that energy as close to what they were doing there. I mean, that's no easy feat, but if we can at least get an eighth of that going, I would consider that as a success.
Yeah, man. You mentioned like kind of playing behind others and doing this, and I think one of the coolest for me, like I've nerded out about it, but this led you to the Tonight Show. You got to go on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah,
and play with your dad and Nathaniel Rateliff.
Yeah,
so I don't know. I just thought that was a very unique experience. Obviously, you're probably the first guest on the show that's been on the Tonight Show and stuff. So it was
it's just luck.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that's just a really cool thing, especially getting to be there with your dad. Those, I don't know. It's just super cool, man, to have that experience with him.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. We had started off on like a little mini press tour. I think we started in Washington D.C. And man, yeah, we did a little press tour. We started in D.C. and at the National African American History Museum. My pops and I, we did an interview there, and then we went up to New York the next day. But I was out there having a bunch of fun though. I was out there with my dad and the family's attorney by the name of Gary Pearson. What's up, Gary? And so when we got done, I was just going around town, just looking for fun. Yeah. I think I was 23. I think I was 23 at the time. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out. And so went to this place called Gypsy Sally's. Saw the most random tribute show ever to Fela Kuti. I was like, the fuck? I was like, it's like, who does that? It was pretty kick ass. Went to a bar. And you know how that goes. and then we go up to New York the next day, and I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm at a wrestling tournament. Mm-hmm. My hands are shaking. I couldn't really sleep the night before. I felt like I was gonna shit myself. The guys from the Roots were just so nonchalant about it, and well deserved too. They're playing. The bass player was playing some Jaco Pastorius. He's like diddling on his phone, and then starts playing Portrait of Tracy. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, no shit, huh? And Captain Kirk, he's just going through his reins or going through his motions with his guitar, and I was just like so blown away by that level of musicianship, the ease of playing was for him. I was like, I can't believe this. And they're like, man, just calm down, be okay. And so I had met Nathaniel that night. There's a cool story behind that too. So we were sitting backstage, and I'm talking to Nathaniel. He goes like, yeah, man, I'm gonna get my mom an Airbnb. He goes like, oh yeah, I'm from Missouri too. I was like, really? Right. I was like, I didn't know that. And years later, we meet up with him down at South by Southwest. And he goes like, oh yeah, I got my mom that Airbnb and I made a music video about it. I was like, no shit. I was like, it's pretty cool, dude. Yeah. So then, but yeah, being on the show, I didn't realize how TV actually worked. And so, yeah, it was funny. Jimmy Fallon, he does a couple skits multiple times. We ended up, maybe this is saying too much, we actually ran the song back one more time. All right. And just started, got extremely nervous during that entire time. But I had one of my best friends up there and one of my older cousins up there too. And I was just looking at them like, hey, does this sound good? Just we're doing cool over here. And so, man, I was 23 at that time. I had just really, really been playing heavy for about 2 years at that point. Yeah. And so I was nervous as hell. And, then a couple months go by, and then we get, up to Lou Fest, and I'm looking at the poster now. Yeah, you had people from, Soul Live, Cage the Elephant, Corey Henry, The Roots again, and Dave Matthews Band. I mean, man, that was one hell of a fucking show, dude.
Yeah.
One hell of a show. Because I mean, again, it's just like I was so young. And just around all like these monster musicians.
Sure.
And trying not to show that I'm intimidated. I mean, like, not just monster musicians from national acts, but monster like St. Louis musicians. I'm like, oh fuck, if you fuck up in front of them, that's gonna get around town hella fast.
Yeah.
so oh man. I remember we were playing Reelin' and Rockin'. And I wasn't prepared for that song. And so whenever we hit the chorus, I just start dancing on stage. I was like, you gotta just fake it, baby.
Yeah.
Just fake it. And then over the years, I started playing more shows with people that are just like 20-year, or like 15, 20, 25-year vets. Just, this dude's been over there, this dude's been over there, this chick's done this. I mean, that's one of the most motivating things on earth. It's like, all right, you cannot show up here. Yeah, you gotta have fun, but you cannot show up here playing like Boo Boo, dude. Yeah. And man,
yeah, I liked on the Tonight Show too. You did a little bit of the duck walk with Nathaniel there too. I thought I just pulled up the clip, and I thought that was a cool thing. I mean, I don't know, it was fun to see you guys having fun.
Yeah, he's just a cool dude. Too. Yeah, he's just a real chill dude.
I think like the family's from like Herman area or something like that. So, I remember seeing him at Ready Room when the big Night Sweats record came out, and he's like the house was packed with a bunch of family, and so he's like, this is as close as I can get to a hometown show kind of thing. So
right,
it was cool to see him in a smaller club like that, compared to, I think the next time was at the pageant and stuff. Like, I mean, but getting to see him with like 1,000 people in a room was a lot of fun on the way up. But yeah, they're doing big stuff now.
Yeah, man.
But, that, I think it was that Lou Fest show too. I think it was like Big Mike Aguirre. Was he part of that one, right?
Oh yeah.
And then so the funny thing is with that, like, I think there was like I was doing a podcast at Gaslight, and there was like the studio space, and then there was like a rehearsal area that was like the garage or whatever, and I think they were doing Lou Fest rehearsals back there.
Yeah,
and I don't know who was all in the room, but I heard stories that there were, like some of the people that were coming in for the Roots or whatever, and the different guys that were, I don't know if they were there that night or how it worked out, but I do remember I was in the middle of doing my podcast with Dave Anderson from Tritone, and I could hear through the walls Big Mike singing "Riding Along in My Automobile," and I'm like, I don't know, just thought it was such a cool moment, like, especially that it picked up on the microphones and stuff, and like it was just a funny situation to be in, like that. I'm recording their rehearsals right now and stuff. So, but yeah, that. Another thing I was thinking about too recently, because I just watched it this week, was that there's a new little show on YouTube for like unsigned artist bands coming on and play for this record label thing. Sumerian or something like that, I think.
Oh, I know Sumerian. Yeah.
But the panel of judges is like Gavin Rosdale from Bush, Alice Cooper,
wow,
Lizzie Hale, and I forget the other two names. But anyway, they're really a great cast as their judges and stuff, and but Alice Cooper's mentioned twice. Like, people were talking about like lyrics and stuff, and talking about being able to write lyrics where like it really like paints the picture, and he's mentioned Chuck Berry twice on there, like, saying how great his lyrics were and stuff, and and that's something I guess like I feel like a lot of people overlook. Like you're kind of talking about getting into your own songwriting and things, and you know, people obviously recognize the guitar and everything else, but I don't think they fully think of him as how great a songwriter and stuff he was and stuff. And so,
right.
And those lyrics, you know, they hold up, man. It's still like you exactly that. Like you're listening, like it paints the picture of exactly what's going on. Like where you can picture what he says, exactly what he's saying, and that's one of my favorite stuff about songwriting and stuff. Being able to kind of close my eyes and you know, almost start making the movie or whatever, you know, the music video and stuff. And,
right. You just start imagining.
Yeah. So, but you yourself, you're working on your own originals now. We got the Charlie Berry Project, like we said, and this is you currently put out a little sneak peek of what you've been up to, and you put out a song called Grind. And
yeah.
That's I'll give you people a little idea of what you're up to, and but you said you are working on putting together a couple more songs, and you got a couple of guys you're working with and things. So, but let's talk about Grind and how this kind of came to be. I mean, because this sounded good, man. And again, like I just imagine, like, you know, something, especially as you're like essentially your debut as an original artist. You know, getting to, you know, coming up with writing original lyrics and stuff. And so is that a whole different process for you? Or you been writing for a while? Or
been writing for a little minute, but when the pandemic hit, that's when I really started writing.
Yeah,
I wrote I'm gonna say, I think last year I wrote, I think it was something like 180, 200 pages of just short stories,
okay.
Journal entries, songs. I was doing that every day, but I've always been like a real imaginative type of person. And so when I was writing the Grind, you know, I wasn't working. I was like, oh fuck, what am I going to do? What am I going to do for money? And so a lot of my songs, including that one, were about like, yeah, man, you're just going to have to figure this the fuck out. You're going to have to just figure out what you're going to do. And, man, and so, when I wrote that, I was actually influenced by, by David Goggins of all people.
Yeah.
And I had, started writing lyrics based off of that. And the song had originally started off as like, oh, this is going to be a party song. And I was like, that's not the mood I'm in right now.
Right.
So I changed it to be like, no, man, it's like, you're going to have to get up, put on your boots and start that grind if you want to get things better.
Wake up, challenge your mind. Put on your boots, start the grind. Push through that heavy door. You cannot tell what's in store. If there's just a bit of will, definitely is a way.
Hey, so my process for writing though, I usually like to, at the top of a piece of paper, I like to write down in the setting that will help kind of guide me through. So I'm not just free writing, but I'll do that too. This one is called Suffering to Gain. And it says, talk about mental pain first, and then physical pain, and then just getting the fuck over it. And he's like, all right, that's what you're just gonna have to do then, boss.
Yeah.
This one was called The Mind. It was recognizing what's wrong, your determination, your grit, and then making the patterns to change things. And then this one was called Believe. It was trust, produce, and be patient. Sneaking out of school. Explain skip day, what we did, and then how you got back home. That's actually based on a true story.
Right.
By my senior year, we I'm sure you guys did too at Wentzville.
Yeah.
You have like a senior skip day. I jumped out the window, met my friends in the parking lot. We went to the zoo, hung out all day, and then I went back home. But I think the school let it slide though.
All right.
Doing things you don't want to, but should. Why you don't want to, why you should, and the positive outcome of doing those things. Man, there was a lot of that going on, and it's just so much pandemic influenced lyrics and topics. And then you got some where it's like, it's kind of silly. There's one called Johnny the Cat. It's kind of influenced by Primus. Oh, there's a song called Johnny the Cat, influenced by Primus. And he goes, Johnny the Cat was walking the street looking for something to eat. He didn't have the heart to kill, but then again, a cat needs a meal. And it's just like, just silly stuff like that. I was like, you can't always be so serious.
Sure.
Just like have a little bit of fun with it. And then Stacy Park, that's about more or less about my friends and I just being degenerates to the nines. That's about just going out, trying to find a chick for the night, or just find a chick in general. The grind, working hard. Lake Forest Drive, that one's an instrumental. And there's another one, I'm trying to remember the name of it. That's terrible. But it's another instrumental that we're gonna open up the show with.
Okay.
And when it comes to writing though, I mean, now it's starting to shift from doing just like a page to I'm like, okay, I'd rather write 3 pages about one topic rather than three different pages on 3 different topics. And so just trying to be more detailed about it now. That's one of my I wouldn't go as far to say escapes, but that is one of my ways to relax.
Sure.
Is to write something out.
Yeah.
Sometimes and then I learned like writer's block. I know some people would be like, might roll their eyes to it, but I've learned writer's block really only exists if you allow it to. There's always, you can write about these beat up hardwood floors. Yeah. you could do that if you wanted to. But yeah, so
yeah, it's something I've been. I talk about it a lot on the show. Like I've never really had any, natural musical talent. I've never really applied myself or really pursued it at all. I've never took any lessons or anything like that. But just never been a calling. I feel like that tell me speaking to me that I need to grab a guitar or or anything like that. I've never had that moment or anything. So, but songwriting is something I've always connected to, and I would like to try to apply myself in it someday. And I don't. But for me, it's like I listen to so much music. It's hard for me to, when I do sit down to write, like it's hard for me to like shut off everybody else's lyrics that are in my brain and like actually write something original. So
that's how it works, though, man.
Yeah.
Some of my songs. Like I posted a snippet of To the Nines online, and somebody said this reminds me so much of your grandfather's of influence of songwriting. And I was like, well, it's basically Carol. Yeah. I just changed the lyrics around. And it's like it's the same thing, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, but that's just how it works, though, man. Like I say, it took some I took some Black Sabbath influence in terms of lyrics of like how dark it can get.
Right.
I had definitely some blues in there too. I mean, just if you take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that, and it's like, oh, that's mine now.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is. Yeah, that's definitely so many people like I think starting off early, people always like, oh, you sound like this, or you sound like whoever, and it's like, and there's enough of that where you borrow from these people until you mix enough of them into where it becomes Charlie Berry. Yeah, it becomes your original sound, and like, so yeah, there's definitely something to that. So, but what are we planning to hit the studio and record the rest of these, or sometime soon, or
I'm gonna take my time with it. Over the pandemic, I tried doing things way too fast, and kind of had to learn the hard way what happens when you do things too fast. And so I'm just going to take my time with it. I've played these tunes with Drew and Antonio a few times now, and I want to just get us through that, play a couple more shows, because I've also learned, like, oh, these can change. These can change. And I'm okay with that, too. It's like, all right, let's see. Because at the last rehearsal we were having, I asked Drew to sing part of the chorus instead of me, and I was like, I really like that actually.
Right.
So just want to keep experimenting with them and see how people in the crowd react and be like, okay. It's like, it might sound silly, but it's like, okay, this one gets a consistent reaction from folks. That's how this song goes.
Yeah, road tested.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. So just take my time with it and make sure not just myself likes it, but everybody in the band likes it too. And then say maybe after 3 or 4 more shows together, be like, all right, let's take these to the studio, let's lay them down, and then release these things. Yeah, because some of them are they're about 2 years old now, and they're just like, all right, come on, it's like, we're waiting to be put down on tape now, sir. Let's do this and put us out there instead of just holding on to it.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool. It'd be fun to get proper recordings and putting your name across the album and everything, and making that. I mean, I'm sure, judging by your room here, we got a lot of records on the walls and stuff. I'm sure it's been a dream since you were picked up the first guitar and stuff. I haven't seen your name across a record like that, right?
Yeah. So since I was in middle school, I said I want to release an album. Yeah, I want to do it.
Yeah, man. So sounds like we're getting real close.
Yeah, and I think people will like them. There's a lot of silliness, but there's a lot of motivation in them too. A lot of songs about self-reflection. But I think people enjoy it though.
Yeah. Speaking of motivation, anybody that's been following along, you've been really getting into your own personal health and fitness, and trying to inspire others, which it's cool to see you passionate about that also. But yeah, you've been really amping up your workout routines and stuff, putting up on TikTok and stuff. And
man. Yeah. I've always been big into sports. I just had too much energy when I was a kid, and the doctor's like, all right, make him play baseball. And so I started off as playing soccer, baseball, and basketball. Doing that from I can't even remember, dude. Maybe first, second grade. Yeah. And then all the way through high school, all the way through high school and my freshman year of college, I was always playing a sport. And then when I left school, I was doing the bike delivery at Jimmy John's. So it was like, okay, you're still kind of participating in the sport. Right. And then, but yeah, man, that's always been one of my passions. I've always loved working out, eating healthy. And now it's just I just post it online. But yeah, though, man, I was telling one of my friends last night, it's like, I just wish people would love this shit as much as our friend group does. I'm like, it pains me to hear people say no, I don't like running. I'm like, what? Why not? And it's like, you feel awesome afterwards. Or no, I don't really want to go to the gym. I'm like, the fuck? I'm like, outside of like, you look good. I'm like, but the even better part is like, you feel good. And it's like, you release all those endorphins. And then, I mean, as much as I love Quick Trip pizza and their brisket sandwiches, and I love those motherfuckers, I do not feel as good as I do when I'm eating apples and shit. I start feeling a little sluggish after a while. I'll be like, I love this and all that candy, but I know I should be eating apples and carrots. Cause when I'm like really on it and always consistent with it, I feel different in my face. Like my face feels like it's flushed out. My body feels lighter. It's just so many benefits to it. I have big person into exercise and healthy eating. I try to show girlfriends this. They'll be like, oh, I want to work out more. And, I try and tailor workouts to them, but then they end up not wanting to. Yeah. And, try and show friends who aren't too big into it, try and show them as well. And they're like, no. I'm like, listen, it's awesome. I'm like, I wouldn't think about it as work. Think about it, I'm going out to go play, because that's what I think. I'm like, oh, I'm going to go out and just go tumble. Because I mean, one of my favorite things is running and riding my bike. I'll ride that bike on the trainer. I'll say this now, just a PSA to people who are out there riding. Please do not ride on roads that you have no business being on. If you can't keep up with those folks, don't go over there. I feel bad for you when I see it.
That's one of my, like, especially where out there where I'm at and kind of in the country, a lot of like 2-lane roads, barely any shoulder, and there's always a guy on a bike. And I'm like, it drives me nuts. Like, I'm like, this is not safe, man. Like, it's not there's plenty of sidewalks and neighborhoods to ride the bike and stuff. I know you want to get out there, but like, something's gonna happen here, man. This is just, it's just way too dangerous. And
back when I was still big into it, my group of friends and I, we had like this creed. It's like, have you ever seen Pineapple Express? Oh yeah. With Bobby Lee, when he says no retreat, no surrender. That was kind of like how we were thinking. It's like, you can't be out here scared. Because we would be downtown, the Central West End, the South Side. I mean, just rolling. I mean, we would ride easily, let's say maybe 30 miles at work, and then maybe like another 30, 40 miles that night after we got off. Yeah, man. I mean, just rolling through there, just rolling. I mean, just racing each other, just having the time of our lives. But yeah, if you can't handle Kings Highway, and if you just got a bike and you're trying to get on Kings Highway, don't do it. Right. Stay on Euclid. Go to Forest Park. Don't do that. Yeah. There's like, you got to be. I'm giving this door on the other side of this apartment building, the 1,000-yard stare. I'm like, you got to have a special. You just got to have that mindset to be like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I know what can happen, but I don't give a fuck. All right. So, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. But then I also like running. The furthest I've ran personally is a half marathon. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I ran into a dude who ran an ultra. And I was like, this dude's a fucking beast. I'm like, how many miles he run? And he ran 50 miles in a day. Whoa. In a day, dude. And I was like, that's insane. And one of my life goals is to run a marathon, because I'm like, oh, okay, that's such a. We were talking about it at this running club. I'm like, it's such a small percentage of the population that is currently alive, that is going to live, and that has lived. Although it's a lot of people relative to like the rest of the population that has been here, that is here right now, and that is going to be here. I'm like, that is so small. I'm like, he's like, and I want to join that club. And it's like, okay, you ran a marathon. And I mean, ultimately, man, I just gotta get my swimming in check too. Yeah. I'd like to do a triathlon. Yeah, like to do like, okay, you've mastered 3 different disciplines, and don't necessarily have to win, but just be like, okay, you completed this motherfucker. Sure, you did it. And yeah, most people don't even show up. So like, so yeah. Oh yeah, man. But I love exercising.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm jump roping, I like to just count in my head. I'm like, okay, let's do divisible by 3 or 2 or 5, and then switch up the feet. And I was thinking to myself yesterday, it's like, it might be kind of fun just to be like, all right, how about hop 3 times on this leg, 4 times on that one, and then 4 times on this one, and then 5 on that one. I mean, you always got to just make it fun. Sure. You always got to make it fun. And then even Drew was saying I like barbarian workouts. So I was like, I do, man. It's fun. Yeah. I mean, when I was 20, I went out to Warrenton to a tractor shop, and they were just trying to get rid of a tractor tire. I was like, fuck yeah. And my pops had a truck. I was like, hey, do you mind driving me out there so you can pick this thing up? And and ever since then, I need to go back there because I don't live with my folks anymore. But I'd hit that tractor like either early in the morning or when I got back from work. And yeah, man. And then I was watching the Batman movie when that one with Ben Affleck came out, and I was like, no shit. There's a scene with him in there. He ties a rope around it, and he starts dragging the tire. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I need to do that too. So. Yeah, man, I
could be Batman.
For real, though. Yeah. I was like, hell yeah. I built a pull-up bar in my parents' backyard. Had the tire, my sledgehammer. Had my bike in the basement. Where my parents stayed, I felt like pretty comfortable waking up fairly early in the morning and going for runs. Man, I love it. I love it. Yeah. I love it, dude. I love it. That is that's really, I'd say working out and just exercise in general, that's really my first love. That's my first love. I mean, I was always just that, because I started off as that kid who had asthma, and then eventually worked my way out of it. And that became one of my biggest strengths when I got into wrestling, was the cardio. And it's just something about it, man. It's just something about cardio in general. I'm gonna sound crazy for it, but I know there's some people who know what I'm talking about. It's just when you realize that your conditioning is at a certain level compared to who you're going up against, and you start hearing, you're like, oh, you just lost. You just lost, and then you just pour it on that motherfucker. It's like, that's it. And I mean, I had that happen to me too, countless times. Yeah. And people who had better conditioning, and they were able to pour it on me. Yeah. And man, I really learned that in college, because at that point I was real big into lifting. My friends had bought this lifting book by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they're like, okay, we got to eat like 5 pieces of toast in the morning, 6 pieces of bacon, 14 eggs, and then we eat like 15 bajillion meals throughout the day. I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And so we were like 15, 16, lifting like 2 hours a day after school. And then we would, after we got done lifting, we would go to the track and run a couple miles, because we had read in there that that's the best thing to do for yourself to get the vitamins, minerals, and blood to your muscles. It's like, go for a run afterwards. And so I thought I was cock diesel, because I was like, all right, you made the state. Yeah, you got knocked out, but you made it there. And so then I go off to school at Illinois State University and join the club wrestling team. And had beat a kid who was there before me. I was like, fuck yeah, all right. Yeah, you can do this. And then I was just too big. It was just too big. I was like 185 then, just jacked for no real reason. I'm only 5'6", dude. And I went up against this kid from Hannibal LaGrange at 149. So I'm cutting down from 185 to 149. I'm cutting hella weight. And I'm winning the match, and then I did that very thing I was just telling you about. I started going, and dude was like, oh, you're going to lose. And he turned it on me. And I was up by like maybe a few points, and I ended up getting pinned. I was like, damn. And so then I start running more. I start running way more to get that cardio up. And yeah, that's when I really fell in love with cardio. Yeah. Really fell in love with it. Hill sprints at Forest Park. Yeah, hell, I'll do sprints in that alley back there. Man, it's just I stand by it, and I've been standing by it for almost a decade now. Cardio is king. Endurance is king. I'm like, I don't give a fuck how strong you are. If you are going to go toe to toe with this person, whether it be a fight, a run, or push-ups or pull-ups, how many of these can you do before your body says, I can't? Yeah. It's like, an endurance is king. And then, and I just been trying to apply that to just life in general. Man, because, man, I started working for myself, and I was just like, man, you might be tired, but fucking get over it. Right. Just get the fuck over it. It's like, man, because I'm fortunate to have quite a few very strong male figures in my family, and they're like, my nickname's Wolfie, and they're like, and one of my older cousins who I worked with for about 5 years or so, he goes like, I want you to think about like how you want to eat. How do you want to eat when you're out there by yourself? And I was like, that's real as fuck, actually. And it's like, are you willing to, yeah, man. And as an adult, it's like, are you willing to go out there and go do it? Because it's like, as those years start going like that, and you start realizing like you keep pushing stuff off, and you're like, oh, I'll do it next week. And then a week goes by, then a month goes by, you're like, oh fuck, the year's over with. And I kept pushing this back. Right. And it's just like, man, you're gonna have to just get over it. And just get over it. Get over it and just start doing. Man, this will be an announcement to my parents. They don't like that their baby boy is tatted up, but just as a reminder to myself, I'm planning on getting a tattoo on my forearm that says discipline or regret. Because that's like a multiple time throughout the day thing. You have to just think to yourself, discipline or regret, whatever it may be, whatever that may be for you. And yeah, man, as I'm getting my band back together, both of them, or my band, and then being part of the tribute band, and that's coming back together and everything, it's just like, you're gonna have to make that decision. You might be tired, but are you going to be disciplined and practice, or are you going to regret it, and are you going to sit down and watch some TV and regret that you didn't put in those hours? Or are you going to be disciplined and go give that bid, or are you going to reschedule and be like, and then possibly lose that bid and then regret it later? And so it's just like, it's just constant decision making. And I just keep coming back to endurance is king. Yeah, it is king. And it does not matter whether it be music, relationships, or work. Endurance is king. Sure. It is king. And I just have to remind myself that too. It's like, it is king. Yeah. And and just try and just constantly apply that. And just have to think to myself, is this really for your best interest? Are you doing the best thing right now?
Yeah. Well, you need some more motivation. Be sure to follow along with Charlie on your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You can get plugged in with all those and get those motivation videos. And yeah, man. Well, I've been going around asking some questions. I want to get your take on these, Charlie. All right, this is a fun one. I started asking just recently, and all right, what about what would be a fictional band like from movies or TV that you wish you could see live? Is there a certain one that comes to mind you think of?
Maybe say it's a tie between Spinal Tap, and Sex Mabob, from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I checked that band out.
There's a lot of them, man. It's something I came to mind, but then like I started like Googling, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of really good ones there's a lot of good answers, possibilities there. One of them that came to mind, Powerline from the Goofy movie. I don't know if you knew that one or not. That might be right before your time, but
just a little bit.
But I forget his real name. But anyways, you have to pull up the YouTube link or something like that, check that out. But that would be, I think that was one of them that kind of stood out. I was like, I haven't thought about that in a while. But yeah, there's a lot of good ones. All right, what about The Day Comes Along? We have a Charlie Berry action figure. What would you like to see as like your 3 accessories with your action figure?
Oh, with it sitting next to my left foot right now.
Right.
A kettlebell. 3 accessories. A kettlebell, a guitar, and
What kind of guitar?
honestly, a Gibson SG.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite guitar idols, and longest standing is Derek Trucks. I've always wanted to be like that dude. A Gibson SG, a red Gibson SG with the vibrola on it. And then the third, let's say a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, sledgehammer. I say those 3 things.
There you go. All right. And is there something you think you could get into the Guinness Book of World Records for? Either real or silly. But I mean, obviously, a lot of things passionate about. But is there anything comes to mind you think you might be able to break the world record for?
Longest hours without going to sleep. I think I could win that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been. It's not good for my brain, but I've conditioned it to need less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about like consecutively, but I've definitely function on very little sleep, and then I typically, like, for a while there, especially, like I was going hard, like trying to do working 2 jobs, trying to do the podcast, trying to go to concerts all the time too, and and still make time to see my wife, and like, so I would like, especially like go hard like Monday to Saturday, and then like just wipe out on Sunday and sleep all day and like kind of thing, like but it was that whole kind of thing too, like, much like you described with fitness and stuff. Like, it was me, I was just like grinding and hustling, trying to make it happen, make something, like I wanted wanted more from life and everything. So it was, and then ultimately I think, I'm still not where I want to be, but it definitely paid off though. Like, all that work is, still paying dividends. So, there's something definitely to be said about what you were describing about how, the discipline and stuff. So if you believe it and you want it, you can achieve it by putting in the work. So,
yeah.
All right. What about, obviously we mentioned a couple of names. You've got to share the stage with some really cool people already. But what would be a dream duet or collaboration you would like to see for yourself?
Man. Yeah. Playing with Derek Trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, play with Derek Trucks. If not for a whole concert, just one song.
Yeah.
Just one song. That's all I need. Yeah. That'd be one of my greatest achievements ever. It'd be like, oh shit, I used to really look up to this dude.
Right.
And I would love that. Derek, Derek and Warren Haynes. Those were 2 of my biggest guitar idols.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
How was it? How'd you get into those guys? Was that?
I was in 5th grade, and my dad comes into my room. He's like super glee and like hella happy. He goes like, "Dude, you don't understand. The Allman Brothers are gonna be here, man. You got to go to this show." And I was like, "Allman Brothers?" I was like, "I'll stay home and play Halo or some shit." And he goes like, "Okay." And the next day we're getting the car wash, and he goes like, "This is what you missed out on." And he turns on, they recorded a live CD, a 3-piece album that same night. And he goes like, "This is what you miss." And they open up with Statesboro Blues. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, who's that playing that motherfucking slide like that? And I was like, and who's that other guy kicking ass too? And they're like, we just listened to the entire album. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
These 2 like are 2 hellacious guitar players that complement the shit out of each other. And I fell down like an Allman Brothers and Derek Trucks and Warren Haynes Government Mule.
Yeah.
Widespread Panic, like the whole. I fell down like a jam band Southern rock rabbit hole for like 10 years.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck. I think I've seen Government Mule maybe 4 or 5 times, and I've seen Derek probably maybe 6 or 7.
Have you seen him with Susan?
Oh yeah. I saw him with Susan 3 times.
Yeah,
3 times.
I'm coming to town here in a little bit. I forget what the date is on that, but
Okay.
I'd be coming back to town. Yeah, I mean, Allman Brothers is definitely one that very early, influence for me. Like my dad was big on a lot of that same kind of thing in Southern rock, like Allman Brothers, Skinner, ZZ Top. A lot of blues influenced Southern rock stuff, but yeah, that. So I've seen Greg a couple times. Went to the pageant and saw Greg Allman and Devin Allman's Honey Tribe opened the show, and then I saw Greg at River City Casino also, and I missed the Allman Brothers. That show your dad was talking about. I missed that stuff, but so getting to see Greg live though was pretty special, and then now becoming friends with Devin, and I sat on Devin's tour bus and did an interview with him and Dwayne Betts, and so being 1 degree separation from the Allman Brothers band was a pretty wild moment for me. Just like I'm like, and this is like, this is pretty special, and and those guys got their crushing it, doing Allman Betts band now and stuff, and fulfilling their following their father's footsteps and stuff. So it's cool to see. But yeah, man. So that's cool. I would never. I don't know. I mean, could have been anybody, but I wouldn't have pictured you deep diving into the jam band scene and stuff. So
I was there for a minute.
Yeah. but yeah, that's cool, man. I don't think I've actually seen Derek live. So I need to make that happen. I need to go watch him play.
He and this band who I've been listening to for a while now, who's one of my main influences right now by the name of Chan, are some of the most just monstrous guitar players ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll do that's one of the guys. Is it Animals as Leaders?
Oh yeah.
That's the other guy. He's like a virtuosic guitar player.
Tosin Abasi.
Yeah, he's the other judge on that No Cover show I was telling you about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, that makes more sense now. I've been following his page for a little minute.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't super familiar. I mean, I never heard the band, so I didn't really know much about him, but I guess he's a pretty big deal.
Oh yeah, he's I'd say he's definitely one of those people who is pushing the limits of what's capable on a guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up there right now.
That's what's, I mean, like, it's cool to think about those moments where things changed. Somebody changed the possibilities of what we know could be done with an instrument and things. Like, I mean, I think one of the early ones, was like Hendrix. It's like,
yeah,
people play guitar, but then all of a sudden he played it that way, and it's like, oh geez, like,
no, this is possible too.
All right. And then you think about like a guy like Eddie Van Halen and what he did with it. It's like there's these moments where these guys like totally change what we know as history for the instrument and stuff. So those are cool things, man. It's just wild to think about that. Just like somebody came up with a new approach to it and stuff. So
yeah.
But yeah, man. All right. What about? Do you ever do any celebrity impressions? do you do any voices or anything?
Oh man. Celebrity impressions, I can't say
yeah.
I can't say I do.
All right. It's just fun. Put people on the spot. See what they.
I'd say Baby Joey Diaz. I like to say, what do you think I like? I'll change it. He says Joey Bananas. I'm like, who do you think I am? Charlie Bananas?
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to jump up and down. Or I copy him a lot actually.
Yeah. All right. Well, a day comes along. We have a Charlie Berry biopic. Who would you like to see cast to play you in the movie?
Oh man. Because people always compare the two of us. I guess, what's his name? Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah, people always say, you look kind of like Stephen Curry. I'm like, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Man, I think that'd be kind of cool to see that.
Yeah. Can you play guitar?
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can.
All right. We'll see. We'll give him a call. Yeah, man. That'd be funny. Now that you say that, though, I do. There's some similarities.
Yeah, I think it's just the orange of my mustache. I think that's it.
Yeah. Can you shoot threes like him?
Nah.
Yeah, basketball. That's all the talking about all the growing up playing sports. Basketball was mine. I was like, big on, especially. I was in the Jordan era and stuff, like watching tons of Bulls basketball and like just go out there and hoop and try to emulate all those guys and try to do my best to but yeah, I was big on basketball for a long time. Kind of miss it, man. I was in pretty good shape as a kid.
You can always go back to it,
right? But yeah, just constantly running up and down the court.
Hey.
But yeah, I've been trying to get back into it, like just starting eating right and start cutting out a lot of the junk that I was doing and trying to start my own little fitness journey. I mean, it's been slow, but I'm trying to get right, trying to get back on. I went through a real bad stretch there. My mom got sick and passed away in 2019, and then right into a global pandemic, and just so I definitely when treat myself right, it was like I was just trying to make up for it now, trying to get back on track and start making some good decisions.
Hey.
Now that I got my mind in a better place.
Yeah, dude, that's the most important thing. Where's your mind at?
Yeah. So well, again, come on out on May 4th. It's a Wednesday at Blueberry Hill, and catch Charlie playing with the Charlie Berry Project and Barry Plays Barry. And I think that's cool too, because like I know Zappa plays Zappa and stuff too.
Yep.
So it's like it's fun to see you guys paying tribute to your family, and I like that you said your dad is gonna. You're hoping to get him up there and stuff, because you said he kind of like semi-retired from playing out, right, or something like that. Kind of he hasn't been playing as much, and
kind of like that. That whole band for the most part. Once Papa passed, a few of them are like, we've been playing out, but it's just not the same anymore.
Right.
And I had my pops, my aunt, the keyboard player by the name of Bob Lower, and the bass player by the name of Jimmy Marcello. They pretty much all, to my knowledge, just went
right,
just stopped. I've seen a few videos of my aunt playing out here and there, but she's not out there doing it like how she was. I think. I mean, just playing with the band it was a completely different experience, just from the few times that I did it, and I kind of get where they're coming from, but they're on just a whole different level when they've spent decades playing with him, going all over the place, and then the type of energy that he could pull out of you, even into his old age, was just insane. But yeah, so I'm gonna try and get my pops up there to sing "Reelin' and Rockin' with us, because there's an ending to it that my grandfather had added to his set, where he goes like, well, we gotta go now. Do y'all want us to quit? You mean you want us to stay? Stay right here and boogie. All night and all day. I want my pops to do that with us. And that's there's just certain ways how I've just listened to so many of his live shows. So many of them, man. There's just certain ways that I know that's how an actual show goes. I understand none of us are him, but like I was saying earlier, if we could just get an eighth of that going, just an eighth of that, I'd be happy with that. Yeah, just an eighth.
Do you have a particular favorite song or moment that you think about?
Favorite song
of his?
Favorite song I say is Jaguar and Thunderbird, but that's the one that takes the cake.
Yeah.
But I mean, I really love all of them though. We're adding one in there called I'm a Rocker. I love that one too. Favorite moment was being that little 5-6-year-old kid. Because whenever I would see my grandfather, he'd be like, "Hey man, you remember when you did that? When you slid across that stage?" I was like, "Oh, is that? Yeah, I do." Yeah, that's probably my favorite one. And then going down to Tupelo, Mississippi, for I think it was the Elvis Fair. He had played down there. Botanical Gardens. Man, there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
That's maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I'll start a tribute band and do
hey man,
Presley plays Presley.
Hey, I know a guy around town who may not like that.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I forget now what my aunt told me the other day. She actually pulled it up. I was trying to, because we had a conversation. She's big into the genealogy, family tree stuff, and found. So I knew she would know the answer, and she said I think we're like, I don't know, fifth cousins or something like that, or something, I don't know, whatever it is. We are related, but
cool,
yeah. So but somewhere down, I forget. And she broke it down for me, but I can't remember what she said, but something like that. Man. I don't know how all that works, but
I'm tempted to do one of those too, man.
Yeah,
just like, why not?
Right. But I do get asked a lot if we're related, and I always make my joke is usually that I'm not close enough to get any of the money, so I'm nowhere near that close to the family. So, but it is interesting, think about. So, but yeah, man. Well, Charlie, this has been an incredible day, man. I'm really glad we did this, and thank you for sharing with me. And
no problem. Thank you for having me.
Can't wait to see you get up there on stage and play on the 4th, and grab some tickets and come on out and join us at Blueberry Hill Duck Room in St. Louis, Missouri.
Yeah.
All right, man. And get plugged in on the socials. Keep an eye out for more new original music from the Charlie Berry Project coming soon.
Oh yeah, this show will be recorded. So if I'm really liking how everything's sounding, we got our first album right there.
Yeah, do a live record. There you go.
Yeah, it's right there, right from the beginning.
Yeah, very cool. All right, thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.